Yo, what's up guys? The new season has started. Last season I was one game off 3,300, but my goal was top 200, so I didn't really come close to achieving it, but I had some pretty good games, so this first match here is going to be against Yui. He runs the classic mortar bait. He went for a miner in the not safe spot. Usually they just go for it in the safe spot, so it's pretty easy to predict it with a knight, but not this time. I guess he knew I didn't have tornado. So he goes for the bats. I'm ready with my log, and I actually, it happened one time that I actually logged the gang on the princess, and the princess somehow survived. I think it was because it was placed on the outer tile, but I've only ever experienced that one time. It was pretty crazy. Anyway, I go for a Tesla on his mortar, and yeah, so as you guys can see, I'm playing the Logbait version that Riku plays as well. He plays with Evo Knight, Evo Tesla, and Gang E-Spirit. So no Evo Barrel or Evo Skellies or anything like that. And if you guys don't know Riku, he's a very good Japanese Logbait player. He's got a best finish top 27, so yeah, he's really good. I decided to rocket that cannon card and Skelly King because I didn't really want to deal with it. Also, I think in this matchup it's very important to keep a good cycle. So sometimes the rocket can be pretty good for actually fixing your cycle if you don't really want to play any of your other cards, or like you want to save your knight for the Skelly King, so you don't want to waste it on the cannon card. So if you can get a good rocket in it instead, it might be worth it. Anyway, he's playing the Ice Wizard version because it's so good against the Evo P.E.K.K.A, so pretty much every mortar player is running that. Very good Goblin Barrel here. I played it on the inside and actually got like 700 damage because he didn't see it with his gang. So off to a very good start here, and the princess actually managed to kill the mortar. So here I go for a prediction on his bats, but he didn't play them. He decided to go for a cannon card instead. I just go for a gang here, and then I go for a late knight on the Skelly King, and I make sure to kill everything on the left side. Very good start here. He's got to waste 3 elixir on the left, but he still has the princess on the right to deal with. I just go for a Tesla here, kind of to cycle. I think very good E-Spirit, by the way, killing the Evo bats. And then I go for another princess, and then I log the gang quickly, so both the princesses actually survive. But yeah, I think with this deck, it's important to cycle around to your Evo Tesla because it holds so much value. So sometimes you're just gonna like place a Tesla down without it being like in response to a specific thing or something like that. At least more frequently than with other Logbait decks. So yeah, just log his gang, and now I have both my Evos in cycle, so I'm really not worried about defense here. He goes for a Skelly King in the back. I'm just going to try to defend this without my Evo Knight so that I can save my Evo Knight for the Skelly King, or now I have to go for it on the right side since he went for his Evo Mortar. I could rocket that Evo Mortar, but I'm kind of tempted to Evo Tesla it as well. I'm not really sure what the best option is here. Kind of trying to save my Evo Tesla a bit and defend without it. In general, you just want to rocket their Evo Mortars and not take any chances with it, but I did have my Evo Knight in cycle for this one, so I managed to just distract it and then cycle around to another one. Here I go for a barrel log, and it actually worked out because I played the barrel in the back, and he played the gang in the front very late as well, so I got like 400 or 500 damage. A pretty nice play, and I predicted his mana with the gang. He ignores the barrel, and that's going to be GG for the first match. Very, very clean game here against Mortar Bait. And yeah, let's jump right into the next match. Next match here is going to be against Fang. He goes for an Ice Spirit the bridge, kind of slow reaction time by me, so I just princess the bridge, but it works out since I still got a hit and he had to log it, so he was slow as well. By the way, guys, I'm sorry if I sound a bit sick. I kind of got a bit of a cold, so my voice might be a bit weird. But anyway, we're going against Royal Hogs with Queen and Earthquake here. Kind of an annoying matchup since they've got Delivery and Log for a defense, and Evo Skitties as well. But the most annoying part is definitely the Queen at the 3-card cycle. It can be so difficult to deal with. I do think, however, with this version, we've got a very strong defense. So we've definitely got a pretty good chance, and we've got the Evo Knight as well. So we should be alright to win this. I just go for a Knight on his Queen. He just barely got the delivery down in time. I'm gonna gang this Queen to make sure that it gets no hits. In a matchup like this as well, it's important to you need to be very careful when cycling your knight. You don't want a knight and then he can just like easily queen on it, and then you have no knight to defend his queen, and he got a positive lecture trade on it. Then you're just going to immediately lose the game. And you also want to make sure that you get around to your Evo Tesla quite often, because it's going to make for a way easier defense and possibly allow you to rocket their tower, which is, in the end, is going to be your way to win the game. I'm going to go for a high Tesla here to snipe the queen, cycling to my Evo Tesla. That's kind of my main thinking here, that I'll cycle to my Evo Tesla faster this way. He wasted his Evo Skellies, and the queen still dies, so definitely a very successful Tesla there. I know he's got to respond to the princess on the right, so I go for this on the left to force out a log. And then I go for a barrel immediately, thinking that he might not be able to get a delivery down in time, and look at that damage. I got like, I think 600 damage or something. I just hover my log in case he goes for some skellies, and then I'm going to princess on the delivery. I'm thinking at this point he's probably going to queen the middle, but not much I can do about that. But yeah, I've got my Evo Knight and my Evo Tesla in cycle for this Queen Pigs push, so I'm definitely not worried here. He goes for an EQ, but we're still up a decent amount of damage. I just rocket here because my Evo Knight is not really taking much damage from the Queen, and I got a very good defense. And I still have a Princess Knight down. Yeah, he has to log on that, and now he's going to have to deliver the barrel, so I just go kind of all in here. And I think the Princess is actually on tower, so she's going to get a ton of damage on 2 hits, and she's going to get a 3rd hit now. Off to a very, very good start so far. Well, not even start, we're like 3 minutes into the game, but you guys get what I'm saying. So I was thinking about cycling the knight in the back, but that's what I'm talking about. It can be kind of risky to do, because then he might be able to queen the back, and you could be in a bit of trouble. Like, it could result in a very negative trade, so at least just be careful about it. But anyway, I just go for a high Tesla here. It doesn't matter that it takes a little bit of damage early on, because I'm cycling to my Evo Tesla. Okay, I will say though, kind of bad Goblin Gang there. He's going to get 2 piggies hits on the right, but still not the end of the world. Up a ton of damage. Just going to keep on placing the princesses in the middle and in the back. And he actually messed up his queen, so I got a Spear Goblin hit. Once again, I'm going to Tesla high. He predicted it with his ability this time. Very bad cannon though. I'm going to gang the bridge here. And he piggies right into it, so very bad piggies as well. Just need to E-Spirit for that, and then I'm probably going to I-Spirit on the... Okay, never mind. I was going to say Princess on the I-Spirit, but he went for Skellies in the middle. Just going to keep pressuring him with a barrel, and I'm going to save my Evo Tesla here, and he's too slow with the delivery again, so I get some nice damage. But yeah, I think he might have given up at this point, because he's not really doing anything anymore. So yeah, just going to go ahead and take his tower. Very clean game against First Mortar, and now Piggy's EQ. So yeah, good start to the video, and I'll see you all in the next match. At this point during the season end, I was getting kind of annoyed because I was just trying to push very much on the last day, but I kind of wasn't winning enough games for me to push properly, so I was a bit annoyed, and I ended up switching decks a little bit. So I switched back to the like main classic Logbait from last season with the Evo Skellies and the Evo Barrel and the Inferno Tower as well. So we're going to be against Mohammed Reza, however you say his name. He's got Arrows and Dark Prince so far, but I know that he plays Giant Double Prince. He's one of the best players in the game. I'm just kidding, guys. He plays completely brain dead. So he has to go for a Sap and then a Bomber as well, because he wasted his Arrows and he doesn't have Dark Prince in cycle. Gonna get some nice Goblin chip. I have no clue what that Dark Prince at the bridge is supposed to do. Like, what is he even thinking about? He goes for a Void here. He doesn't have Sap in cycle. I can just easily block the last Void shot with a Princess, and then log the Giant so that the Infernal Tower can finish off the Giant. He's still going to be, 2 cards away from his Sap, so he's still going to have to respond properly to the Princess, so it's basically just a free Void block, because he still has to Prince on it. So off to a decent start so far. I mean, he does have Giant Double Prince triple spell with Bomber, so obviously not going to be the easiest matchup, but he's plays very badly, so there should be a decent amount of outplay potential. So obviously he's going to be back to his Arrows now. He's going to... So that's a terrible Giant, the bridge. I'm just going to Evo Skellies on it. He's going to Arrows on the barrel, and he will be back to a Sap now, I think. But for some reason he doesn't go for it. He decides to Evo Bomber on it instead. But the Giant gets perfectly countered. The Evo Bomber is dead to the log. I was thinking about activating the King Tower, but I figured it would definitely be an overcommitment. But he still had to Void on the Princess, so Very, very good start here. Once again, I was thinking about playing Evo Barrel at the bridge, but it would have been a terrible overcommitment, so I decided not to. But very good gang at the bridge, forcing out his Evo Sap. So he doesn't have any of his Evos in cycle right now. He just played Evo Bomber and then the Evo Sap as well. He tries to predict my barrel in the back with his Dark Prince. I'm not gonna let him get away with such an easy prediction. I go for an Evo Barrel here, and I was thinking about rocketing that Prince Bomber, but he would have still had the Dark Prince in front. I don't think it would have really been worth it, but pretty easy defense here. Just gonna distract the Prince with the Skellies and then counter it fully with the Knight. Going for a barrel to pressure him for some elixir out of him. Princess the back, because in this type of matchup you really don't want to play your Infernos too early, because he does have Void and he does have Sap as well. And also you need to really be careful of the Evo Sap. Very, very good Knight there, blocking his Void, completely reading him, and he doesn't have Void, he doesn't have Sap, so this Inferno Tower will kill this Giant pretty much completely. I mean, he did arrows, so the Inferno Tower did die, but the Giant didn't get any damage, so we're still fine. And now he doesn't have arrows in cycle, so he doesn't have a great response for my barrel, so it's probably going to get at least 2 shots. Yeah, he goes Dark Prince, so that's going to be 2 shots. He goes for a pretty bad Evo Bomber there. The Princess should finish it off. Yeah, I don't know what this guy's actually doing. I'm just going to gang here and then Knight to block the Dark Prince. And man, look at this counter push. I'm going to go for an Evo Barrel as well. He has to defend both lanes here. He's probably going to let the left lane go, but that's going to be a ton of damage. Even still get 3 hits on the right side, but the damage is kind of evening out. Once again, terrible Void there. I mean, he did kill the Princess, but he didn't get anything against the Inferno Tower. Just managing to apply very nice pressure in this match, not really allowing him to stack up his units and build a big push. In general, I think that's the biggest mistake you could make against a matchup like this. So you obviously don't want to overcommit, but the second thing that you want to be mindful of is just making sure that you're not playing like into the lane, that, you know, allowing him to like play a Dark Prince in the back and then a Prince and defend your stuff with it and then Giant in the front and stuff like that. You don't want to allow him to build up a big push that way. You kind of want to make sure that, you know, he plays some stuff in the left lane, then he giants in the right lane, just forcing him to spread out his stuff and making sure that the biggest push he can get is like Giant Phoenix or Giant Prince or whatever. Once again, he goes for a Void Sap on the Inferno Tower. It's not going to do anything. I might have been a bit in trouble here, but I don't even think so. And the Knight manages to take the tower. So GG's in the 3rd match, and I'll see you all in the 4th match. This time we're going to be facing NoahhRoyale, K, and K. I wasn't sure what he was playing at the beginning, so split Skellies in the middle is definitely the best starting play that you can make with this deck, because cycling to your Evo Skellies is really important in pretty much all matchups. Same goes for the Evo Barrel. Playing it at the tower in the start is always good. So he plays arrows, he plays a Night Witch in the back. He's probably going to be playing Giant Graveyard. It could be a tricky matchup, but I think with this version of Logbait, I should have a pretty decent chance of outplaying him, especially if he plays like most Giant Graveyard players do. Definitely not the brightest players in the game. I go for Skellies behind the Knight to just get a little bit of extra damage, and I think I actually got a few hundred extra damage, which is pretty nice. Anyway, he goes for Bats to counter it. He's got Barbs as well, so honestly, kind of a tricky start here. I go for a Knight in the middle, but then I have to gang as well for those Barbs. I actually played it too low, so he got 1 hit, but I have my Evo Skelly. Oh, and another hit. That's unfortunate. I have my Evo Skellies here to make sure that everything gets cleaned up, and he plays Night Witch right into them, which is just terrible for him. It's a complete waste of 4 elixir. Here I'm going to go for an Evo Barrel, hoping that I'll be able to tank for those Evo Skellies with it, but he goes for the Bats anyway, so it didn't work out, but still, I've got the full health barrel on the left, getting a ton of damage, and he's still going to have to kill this Princess on the left. We force out his Evo Barbs, and I can just log and then gang on them. I think what's really important in this matchup is you need to be very careful of his Evo Barbs, because if he can build up a decent Giant Push on one lane and then go for Evo Barbs on the other and try to block your Inferno with the Barbs and the Bats as well, then and with the Evo Sap too, then you definitely might be in a bit of trouble. So you need to be careful that he doesn't have both his Evos in cycle and generally the Evo Sap as well, especially when he's going to go for Graveyards and stuff like that too. So forcing out the Evo Sap and defense will definitely be a priority in this match. I'm going to go for a high Inferno Tower because he couldn't really block it with Bats since I had the Princess down. So it's definitely going to get some very nice value against the Giant, and the Princess is actually MVP in this match. It just turned around and completely sniped those bats. He has to sap that. He doesn't borrow in cycle just yet. Gonna barrel opposite. Oh, he did. I'm dumb, actually. Anyway, just barrel, and he just barely got those barbs down, I think, but the goblins are still getting damaged. The spirit goblins are on the tower, and they actually end up taking the tower, so I can just kind of rocket that bowler and log the graveyard, princess for the bats. I have evil skellies if I get in any kind of trouble, but his tower is down, so I'm definitely not in trouble here. So GG's against Giant Graveyard, and I'll see you guys in the next match. The game against Giant Graveyard before was actually the game that brought me to 3,200 trophies. I was at 3,200 like a week before the season end, but then I ended up tilting and I didn't really get back up. So it's the second time of the season that I managed to achieve that. And by the way, on this last day, I actually tilted down to, well, before the last day, I tilted down to 2,740 trophies. But I managed to make a comeback on the last day only, back up to 3,270. So just over 500 trophies until Twitches. I mean, honestly, it's not bad, but it's definitely not what I was going for, because obviously I was trying to get like a top 200 finish or something like that. So definitely not my goal, but I just need to keep practicing and get better with Logbait and adapt to the meta and stuff like that. Anyway, let's get back to the game. So against Violet here, and he's going to be playing, or she or whatever, is going to be playing MK Bait, I think. I don't know what I think about this match. Well, I know what I think about it. I don't know what's true about it. I don't know how bad the matchup is for Logbait. I mean, obviously on paper, I should have a very good matchup against him, but I feel like if they were good, it's definitely just a very tricky deck to face, because they have so much spam and pressure with the minor bats sap along with all the other stuff, and then the Evo MK on top of all that, and the Inferno Dragon. Man, it's a nightmare to play against, honestly. Super annoying deck, but off to a decent start so far. I've got my Evo Tesla and Cycle on the right side, so I'm not too worried about that. It should kill the Evo Bats and the Skelly Barrel as well, and then I can just go for a gang on the left side. He could sap, but okay, that's kind of a good sap actually. It forces out the E-Spirit and gets him a bit of damage, but still, it just evens out the sides, so still looking decent. I will say Princess in the back in this matchup is definitely going to be key, along with cycling to the Evo Tesla and trying to keep the Evo Knight and cycle for his Evo MK. But the problem is with the Evo MK, the Evo Knight isn't going to be enough, because the Evo MK is just going to punch it out of the Earth's atmosphere. It's going to go crazy on it, man. Hopefully we're going to be able to get a King Tour activation or something like that. E-Spirit is definitely very good in this matchup as well, against all the goblins and the Skelly Barrel and the bats too. Terrible Spirit Goblins, by the way. So yeah, E-Spirit is very, very good here. Oh, the Knight didn't actually catch the Miner. Oh, the Knight did catch the Miner. That's the best Knight I've ever seen, man. Very good catch, because I would have had to Tesla the Inferno Dragon if it didn't catch it, so the Princess didn't shoot the Inferno Dragon, but luckily I didn't have to. He goes for an early gang here. I get no damage. That's the thing too, like alone barrels, they have pretty good defense against it with just the gang. The good thing though is the E-Spirit. If I can get some barrel E-Spirits down, that should be pretty decent for me. Anyway, E-Spirit on the skeleton barrel on the right side, I only take like a little bit of damage, and then barrel here and Princess, and I hit one Spirit Goblin, and that's going to get me so much damage. Look at all that damage. And another Princess shot. So his tower is down to double rocket range. And here comes the Evo MKs. This is where I might get in trouble, right? So I go for an Evo Tesla here, and then I go for an immediate gang on the MK, just trying to like DPS it down, whatever. Anything that might work. And then I actually go for a really nice King Tour activation here with it, just like I was talking about. I got the Evo Knight on offense. I was trying to predict his bats with the Princess. He goes for a Miner. I go for a barrel behind the Evo Knight, and that's going to be a very nice win here. So GG's against Violet, and I'll see you guys in the next match. Alright, so next match here will be against VK Landjax from Combatiente. He's on 3250, I'm on 3240, so it's going to be, I'm currently 2 games away from 3300. He's playing Mortar, probably going to be Mortar Bait again. I faced a lot of Mortar on the last day. And by the way, guys, I actually screen recorded a video. I might put it like into this game so that you guys can see it. But on the last day, like, I had played 14 games, And 8 of those games were actually Giant Graveyard. It was insanity. I swear, it was constant Giant Graveyard. I don't know what happened, man. It's not even like it's good in the meta, I think. Because there's so much P.E.K.K.A and stuff. And Mortar. I guess it might be good against all the Mortar, but yeah, that was honestly super annoying. I managed to beat it some of the time, but it's such a terrible matchup that I definitely didn't win it every time. Anyway, facing Mortar Bait here, kind of bad bats on the right side, I'd say, because I can just log everything. I just Princess on them. So yeah, he's just playing the classic Mortar Bait. He goes for a defensive Mortar. Not really much I can do about that. It's going to kill the Princess. In my opinion, he should have played it at the bridge before the Princess walked up to the bridge so that the Mortar would take out the Princess. But I guess he was scared of me protecting it, actually. Yeah, never mind. That probably wouldn't work. Because it's only sometimes, like, when the Princess is at the bridge, the Mortar at the bridge can still hit it. It depends on the position and stuff, so I guess that would have been a bit risky from him. Just gonna gang here on his gang. And I think in this matchup it's important to play a bit passive, because you honestly have very strong defense against him with the Evo Knight, Evo Tesla, E-Spirit, and the gang for the Miner. And Princess is very good in this matchup too, so if you can just kind of play passively, then you should be looking pretty good here. So just Evo Knight on the Miner. He's going to Skelly King in the back. That's fine. Just going to go for a barrel here in the front. And then Princess to hopefully predict his gang. And then try to predict his bats with the E-Spirit. And this is where I knew I messed up. Because he just played a cannon card. And it killed everything. Like, it killed my Princess. It killed my barrel. It killed my E-Spirit. That was 7 elixir for 5. And he had the counter push. So I was in big trouble here, and honestly, at this point, I thought I lost for sure. I had to, like, gang and try to distract everything. Nothing was working out here. He goes for bats behind the cannon card, and oh boy, was I looking bad. And the knight fortunately did redirect the cannon card, or it would have been looking very, very bad. But yeah, definitely not a great situation. Down 2,000 HP here. Actually, yeah, almost 2,000, but just going to try to catch his Miner here with the E-Spirit and then the gang too, so I only take 1 hit. Princess on the gang. Very important to not log the gang in a situation like that, because you can Princess it instead. And you want to focus on trying to, like, build up some stuff here and make it difficult for him to defend it. So I go for a rocket on that cannon card, which I think is actually decent, because the Princess will continue shooting it, and at least I get some of my damage back, right? Here I'm caught in a kind of an awkward cycle, so I have to Tesla here to tank for the Mortar while it's hitting the Skelly King. Then I need to log and keep distracting the Mortar with a Knight. Obviously, the trickiest part here is the fact that he's got the Miner arrows combination. He's going to get so much damage here because my gang died to the arrows. Pretty good arrows from him, and I have to log the Mortar as well. Because the Evo Tesla was too low, because I needed to kill the goblins on the tower, so I don't even know how I'm ever going to come back from this. He predicts my Princess with his Evo Mortar. I'm just going to try to distract it with the E-Spirit, but it's not really looking too good. Fortunately, the Evo Mortar actually targeted the Goblin Barrel instead of the Princess, so I can gang here and keep protecting the Princess. I get 1 more hit, hopefully 2. 2 more hits, only 1 hit on the tower though. Bad ability from him, I can just E-Spirit that, and the cannon card will die to the tower. He's forced to arrows on defense, so I'm just going to go for another rocket here. Rocket cycle is definitely going to be the strong suit of Logbait in this type of matchup, especially with that type of defense, so just go for a Knight here to distract all the Evo bats. And look at that barrel actually, so for some reason the tower redirected on the wrong goblin, so I still got 2 hits even though he played the gang perfectly with the cannoneer. So I go for another rocket, and at this point I'm thinking, wait, I might actually win this match. So I go for a gang. I didn't catch his Miner, but he played it right into the Tesla, so it only got 3 shots. And he's in rocket log range at this point. So I just cycle the rock, and then I just get to the rocket and I pray. Look at the cannon card. It's getting sped up. Oh my god. And the rocket actually hits the tower. And that was a crazy match, to be honest. So yeah, that's the match that put me at my season highest. Unfortunately, I didn't achieve the finish that I wanted, but I tried my best. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you'll like and subscribe, and then I'll see you guys in the next video.